Friends, I have been discussing about the important issues every day. Today we are going to discuss about a jargon which I developed 45 years ago. That time nobody bothered about it. It was catch them young. Now that it has gathered momentum, we have to really understand what are the benefits and what do I mean by catch them young. The idea is to catch the children young. Of course, we can catch the old persons young also, but for that we will have a different session, because catching old persons young is also very pertinent and important. But let's talk about the catching of the children young. The idea is to catch the children while they are going to school and enable them to become didactics, I mean educators. The other English meaning of didactics is educator. In Hindi it is known as prabodhak. So the idea is to make them didactics so that they may educate first their own fathers and mothers, their guardians, their own teachers, their colleagues, rather the entire neighborhood. But you will say how? Why and why? How it is possible? It is quite possible. Quite possible because the children will learn the art and science of protecting our Mother Earth, to do the right things at the right time. And for that matter, we have to cover in every city or a district or a county about 500 to 1,000 schools, depending on the population. If the population is thin, it can be 10, 20, 30 also. But in bigger cities like Delhi or London or New York or Tokyo, for that matter Paris or Amsterdam, we can have at least 1,000 schools to be covered, where we'll educate the children by having essay competition, debate competition, painting competition, dance and drama competition, elocution, quiz, collage making competition, and third coat competition, especially on issues relating to environment, ecology, or disaster management, or for that matter, other issues which are very important regarding pollution, regarding food, regarding our lifestyle, regarding our wellness. All those things will have to be understood. I gave an example perhaps a few days back that if I have a bad habit of either, if I am alcoholic, although I am not, I am workaholic, but if I would have been alcoholic and if my colleagues would have asked me to stop this, I won't have done it. But if a child comes and says that, no, sir, you can't do it, uncle, grandfather, you can't do it, it would have been as if somehow there are slaps on both my cheeks. I won't do it. I will never do it again. That is why they will promote among everybody, and finally through resident welfare associations it can reach. But so far teaching is concerned, that is to be done through children, because they can catch anything and everything very quickly. The cellular phone you are having, it takes months for you and others who are senior persons to understand, but they understand within a day, within an hour or so. So catching them young slogan has come to stay, and it is gathering momentum. Now we have to understand other aspects also. For doing this, there is a big role of teachers, the principals. Only they can motivate them, and once they do it, it is going to reach everywhere. But once it reaches, we have to also see that we really try to understand and motivate them to further keep on educating others. In the meantime, the role of the government, the regulatory body, the promotional bodies, the entrepreneurial bodies, or the planning authorities all have to agree that education and educational policies are to be really revamped, where we take the example of children learning all these techniques and educating us finally, so that we may adopt and adapt those good habits. Only then it is possible to implement the program, which are very important for our Mother Earth to be protected, and if we don't do it, we are going to face a disaster. So while discussing the need for having all this, we have to also understand what are the bottlenecks, what are the problems which will not enable us to implement the project in the right earnest. Sometimes what happens, the school management will not be ready because they feel that the students are already overloaded with many subjects, and now that we put them some extra burden. No, it has to be taken very lightly, because environment and related subjects and Mother Earth protection is already taught there. Now it has to be taught in different manner, so that the children are also motivated that today I have not only to learn, but I have to educate somebody. So they will be very proud of learning, and they will be interested in learning, not as a subject where they just mug up everything and write in the answer sheets. No, they will mug up as if it should become a lifestyle, and that they have to transfer their knowledge to the other citizens who are just adults or senior citizen or elderly people. So that way it is quite possible to do it, and let's give a good start, and if we do it, I am very sure. In the meantime, the matter remains about the technology and the course materials and the instructional materials. That has to be strengthened. We are also preparing all the materials. Many governments are doing it. So wherever it is possible, it has to be stored in the electronic media and then transferred to other developing countries where such facilities are not there. There are many smaller countries where there are no big facilities because there are no universities, because they feel like exporting their young persons to other advanced countries for higher studies rather than creating their own universities, because they feel it's less expensive to send them to other countries because they are a handful of students, whereas if they start higher educational institution or a tertiary level institution, going to be very expensive. So for them, for those countries, we are advocating that the advanced countries or wherever these technologies are available could be transferred to them, so that there is a balanced growth of education and higher education and tertiary education everywhere, and the students of all countries of the world could acquire similar knowledge, so that the same knowledge could be transferred to their guardians, their teachers, their colleagues, rather the entire neighborhood. Thank you very much.